And we finished up, and we were picking up balls just talking. And he's like, I love your vibe. Would you want to come work for the Giants?
What? Hunter Pence offers you a job.
HP.
The audience decide for us. I'm James, coach Ballgame, been coaching for about 20 years. Who are you?
I'm Coach Chad Chop. I've been coaching youth for about 20 years as well, and love working with youth. And I've been fortunate enough this going on my 8th year to be in Major League Baseball as a support staff member, and just love it.
What does that mean, support staff? What exactly?
Well, you're a staff member who supports. What you do is I started off as a batting practice pitcher, and I did instant replay.
Wow.
So I got to do that, and did that for 5 years for the San Francisco Giants.
Okay, got to pause you there.
Okay.
This might just be a Q&A of me fanboying you.
Okay.
How in the world does a tall, handsome, bearded man get a job as a BP pitcher?
Great question.
Yeah.
Really, it comes down to just being open to try to help others. So I was at a 24-hour fitness right down the street, Irvine Marketplace, and
Working.
just
Out.
Exercising.
Gotcha.
Yeah, cardio. Yeah, elliptical.
Good
So I'm
day.
doing cardio. I see Hunter Pence and Brett Pill, and they're just working out. And I was like, oh, cool. That's a couple of big leaguers. That's great. And just didn't think anything of it. Kept working out.
Meanwhile, you had played some minor league ball.
I did. I played for 5 years.
Yep.
And retired from that.
Uh-huh.
And long story, became a firefighter, retired from that. Right? So twice retired.
Married.
Multiple children at that time, only 2, currently 4. And I had started my own baseball academy, Chad Chop Baseball Academy. So
Chad Chop Baseball Academy.
good ring to it.
In the Bay Area.
Negative. In Irvine area.
Wow.
Laguna Beach High School.
Orange County.
Yeah, whammy. So did that, and figured I would just do that forever. Loved it. Loved working with kids, and was just building confidence and reminding them to be kind and treat others the right way and all that good stuff. And saw Hunter Pence, ran into him, didn't say anything. A couple days later, saw him again. It happened 4 days in a row. Right? So the 4th time, I was like, okay, there's a reason why I keep running into Hunter Pence. So I went up to him, and I said, hey, my name's Chad Chop. I have the keys to Laguna Beach High School. If you ever need someone to throw you batting practice, I'd love to help out. Right? That was it.
Just you having some guts.
Courage, a little bit of grit and guile. Yeah, and just, offering my services. Right?
Right.
That was my Bill Walton impersonation.
Yeah.
So I offered, and he took me up on it, took my number, called me. And the next day, we're hitting at Laguna Beach High School, and I'm throwing in batting practice. I'm left-handed, which is rare for BP guys. And we finished up, and we were picking up balls just talking. And he's like, I love your vibe. Would you want to come work for the Giants?
What? Hunter Pence offers you a job.
HP.
Wow.
Yes. So I instantly said, well, oh my gosh, I've talked to my wife, first of all.
Sure.
She's in charge.
Yeah.
And but I was like, that's not why I offered to help. But I mean, absolutely, that'd be amazing. So fast forward a month later, and I get a call, and they want me to come out and throw batting practice and get to do instant replay. So
wow,
that's how I became a support staff member.
Did you have to audition for anybody else in the San Francisco
yes.
elite?
They what they did is Bobby Evans, who was the assistant GM at the time, then became the GM. Mm-hmm. He flew me out and said, hey, sat me down and said, listen, someone I really trust, Hunter Pence, is vouching for you and your character and your ability. So on that, we're going to give you this week trial, and if it goes well, we're gonna have you travel with us full time.
Wow! So you get this job throwing beeps, and what else was What was your other part of the job specifically?
Well, if you asked Ryan Vogelsong, I was their personal hype guy. So what I would do every day, this is true, and I still do this to this day, is and you know this as a coach, you can be a drain or a fountain, right? You can be light or darkness.
Right.
So every day I would come into that clubhouse and just try to encourage and pump up and remind these guys who they are and what they're about.
If you go to a sitcom filming of Friends or, anything, there's that hype person that hypes up the crowd to get them ready to laugh.
I was just
that
hyping
was
the big
you
leaguers.
In a clubhouse.
That's right. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So I would do that. I didn't really have any responsibilities prior to the game. I would help out, hit some fungos, and play catch at first. Once the game started, I did instant replay.
Yep.
So, but before that, it's just reminding them who they are, using humor to get them back in the moment. Did multiple challenges for money. Multiple challenges.
That's amazing. Was there any kangaroo court? Would you run kangaroo court? Are you that guy in the clubhouse?
We didn't have a kangaroo court, but I was the judge of my kangaroo court back in 2005 in Potomac. So yes, obviously.
There you go. I can see that.
Yes.
So
very fair judge, by the way.
But you loved coaching at an early age. You started coaching when?
Yeah, I started coaching when I was like 15. I would come out and help with Coach O'Donohue, who's very well known in this area. Great coach, my mentor as a coach.
Wow.
And he would run camps, still runs camps to this day. And I would help out as a 15-year-old and kind of fell in love with just breathing life and confidence into the youth and trying to help them get better. It was great. So I've been doing it since then.
Wow. And then you, where'd you go to college? You played ball?
San Diego State for 2 years.
Nice.
Transferred to Vanguard University. Yep. Small little Christian college where I met my wife.
Yep.
And we've been married for 20 years here.
Wow.
And, so that's just in Costa Mesa, right up the road.
So Orange County, born and bred. You got your Southern California college baseball. You get drafted by the
Montreal Expos.
Yeah. They used to be the Montreal Expos. Now they're the Washington Nationals kids.
That's right.
And my favorite player, Andre Dawson.
That's right. Hawk.
Boom, the Hawk. He came up with the Expos.
Huge hands, Hawk.
Yeah. So does Anthony Rizzo.
I heard that.
Big.
From a reliable
large
source.
Yep. Very reliable.
Handsome and reliable.
Yeah. I met Anthony Rizzo.
It's true.
Name drop.
Big hands. Big hands, he said.
Well, you get drafted by the Expos. You play for 5 years. Did you get a cup of coffee in the show?
No. I furthest I made it was, I guess, 2 claims to fame. I was the second overall prospect after my first full season, which was great. Had a great year in the Sally League.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then I made it to, I played a AAA game in spring training, but never made it past that, and met some amazing people I'm still friends with today.
That's so much further up the ladder than 99% of baseball players.
Career 270 hitter, so that's pretty good.
Big left-handed bat.
Gap to gap.
Hey.
I'm gonna get you line drives.
Gap to gap. I tell my kids, you know where you can find Cooperstown?
Gap to gap.
In the opposite gap.
That's right.
Opposite gap.
That was my approach.
Let it travel.
That's all it is.
Yeah. If, sidebar, you are, if you're thinking opposite gap, then you're going to pay attention to the pitch better. You're going to let it get a little bit deeper. You're going to stay more balanced. Your head's going to stay more still. It's like everything just...
I love it.
Yeah. Put a bow on it. It's better.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's how to get out of the slump, too.
No doubt about it. Opposite gap. That's where you find Cooperstown.
I love that.
Beard salute. So, I mean, we'll just jump all around here and then back and forth and up and down.
Yeah.
We met because you brought 2 of your kids to... You have 4 kids, 4 boys.
4 boys.
Brought 2 of them to one of my camps just a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
How'd you hear about Coach Ballgame?
Coach Ballgame. Man, if I could tell you earmuffs, I would, because I want to keep you somewhat humble.
Oh, too bad.
But the wife found you on Instagram.
Bang.
Yes.
How about that?
And first she said you were super handsome.
Yeah.
And which I understood after seeing you.
Great.
But we really love what you're about. It's along with our family's beliefs and just like of love and kindness and joy, and you love the game, but more important, you love the kids, and it's about having fun.
Yeah.
And teaching them about Roberto Clemente and Daniel Nava and obviously Mr. Wrigley, old time Wrigley.
Old man Wrigley. He's got his baseball card up here. Old man Wrigley.
Didn't he beat Babe Ruth in a hot dog eating contest?
He also beat Honus Wagner in a mustache growing contest.
Right.
At a speakeasy in Guadalajara.
Right. So you have this knowledge. So that's the thing. Like, how would we have ever known that if our kids didn't come to your camp?
Very good point.
Right.
And my older brother, 200 years old now, Old Man Wrigley, invented Pop-Tarts.
Right.
And,
that's amazing.
And invented the word paraphernalia.
He did. Yeah.
He's the first guy to ever use that word. Anyhow. I
love Pop-Tarts.
You know how cool is it? Pop-Tarts are great. Blueberry. I go blueberry. You?
Brown sugar.
Yeah. It's too bad.
It's middle of the road.
Yeah. But Instagram, you find me on Instagram, it's like I had the gall and I had the I loved myself so much that I would set up a phone on my ball bucket at my private lesson and just film me soft tossing to kids, conversating, talking about baseball. During water breaks, I would give my assistant coach the phone when I got an iPhone, and I'd say, hey, just film this team meeting, and we would start talking, and I figured out how to post it on Instagram. And then 5 years later, you came because of that Instagram thing.
It's so good. It is just, it's just such a good time. I'm telling everybody about it. I mean, from the mountaintops, like, come to Coach Ballgame's camps. It's like nothing else that's out there.
Well, who would have thought that just making it really fun and engaging the kids and looking through the lens that I look through of make kids better people and make them want to come back tomorrow.
That's right.
And then sometimes that's hard. And sometimes you got to be really patient. And sometimes you got to really challenge the kid. But looking through that lens, who would have thought that was novel? But apparently it is.
It's awesome.
And so
Quick kid review.
Yeah?
Boaz, my 7-year-old. I said, Bo, how was Coach Ballgame's camp?
Yep.
And he said it was good. And I said, it was just good, with a threatening look. And he said, no, Dad, it was great. So that's kind of both of us get credit.
And Boaz's nickname was?
Number 35.
Number 35. How did he get the nickname Number 35?
Loves Brandon Crawford.
He loves Brandon Crawford.
Yeah.
I've got another kid named 79 because his dad shot a 79 in a big golf tournament that I played in with him.
I mean,
so that's the other number.
Almost par for the course.
Oh yeah,
right.
35. Great smile. We gave him a lot of smile salutes, and very respectful kid. You've done a good job.
Thank you. This mom has. She has mom's.
Mom,
full credit, Mom.
There you go. So you kind of saw what I was doing, and you related to it. How?
The most important thing is how we treat people, right? And I just feel like you and I, we know that through life experience, and you can see it, you can feel it, through your energy, and that's the very most important thing I believe we can do as coaches, right? You can't change the world, but you can change someone's world, and you do that every single day. So seeing that inspires me, and that's the beautiful thing about kindness is it's inspiring, right? So it's just I get the chills thinking about what you're doing and the lives that you're impacting. And I saw that and gravitated towards it. And now we're here, and hopefully we can spread it throughout the world through your little iPhone 12. Looks like
I think it is. It's a pretty big phone.
Big phone. That's a big phone.
I think it's a
Forearms.
12. That's
Do we have a forearm salute yet?
Ooh, forearm
Not
salute.
yet,
Well,
I mean,
Roberto Clemente used this
Yes.
rubber ball as a
I've heard
kid,
about
and he would squeeze, and it would cause this thing. So maybe it's a forearm salute, right?
it might be with that phone. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Anyways, iPhone, if they're listening.
Yep. Hey, we. By the way, we've got a funniest baseball name in history bracket contest. We're going to go through those at the end, so stay tuned for that.
Don't leave.
Yeah, or leave and then come back.
Either way.
But you coach. You do. So let's catch up to present day. Now you're with the Los Angeles. What's their name?
World Series champion, defending Los Angeles Dodgers.
The Dodgers. Okay, never heard of them. But tell me about that experience. How'd you get that job? What do you do?
Yeah.
Go.
Yes. So in 2018, that was my last year with the Giants. And
were you just you couldn't throw a BP anymore?
It's one of those things where there was whispers that they were going to make some changes with some support staff.
You got fired.
And they I think the term was they let me go.
They let you go.
No, I'm sorry. They were going to make a change analytically with my position was the official reason. So with that said, I got whispers of that before the end of the year.
Oh boy.
And so I reached out to a few of the coaches, some of the players who I knew had connections throughout the league, and just said, hey, if you guys think that what I bring is important or valuable, could you potentially put your name out there for me?
Sure.
And 3 or 4 gentlemen in this game that have a tremendous reputation really believe in kind of the kindness and positivity that I bring every day. So they reached out to some of the biggest members in the Dodgers organization and vouched for me. So
bounce back salute.
That's all that is,
right? Because you kind of got Elsa.
Oh, absolutely.
You got Elsa. Let it go.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a joke. And then you bounce back.
Yeah.
And because of your kindness, because of the choices you'd been making with the Giants, some people saw that, noticed that, and they're like, "Oh, I like this guy's energy. We want him in our clubhouse."
Yes.
And the Dodgers hired you 5, 4, 3, 2, 3 years ago?
3 years ago, yeah.
And
2 weeks after I was let go by the Giants, I was hired. Dave Roberts said, we want to bring you on. So,
bang biscuit.
Yeah,
did you have an initial meeting with the skipper, Dave Roberts? If so, tell me about it.
Man, I did. And it involved being clean shaven.
Ooh.
Putting on literally a suit. Pinstripe, navy blue.
Wow.
Really nice suit. Flew to Las Vegas.
Sure.
And I right now in my brain, I'm thinking about cliff noting it, but I'm not going to. Circuitous route.
Bring it.
Okay. Flight got canceled.
Yeah.
6 a.m. flying out of Tucson. Flight's canceled. Panic. Right? So this is my first chance meeting everybody in person.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What do you do? Right? Very stressed out. Very concerned. How do I get through that? Yeah. Think about other people. Right? So I get on this flight. I end up flying to Los Angeles to try to catch a flight to Las Vegas. On the flight to Los Angeles, I sit next to a parent whose son is going through the fire academy.
Wow.
I was a firefighter after I retired from baseball. So I got to just dive into helping him and gave him my phone number and a resource to him, told him what I was going through, and the flight attendant. They were like, how are you so calm? I was like, well, I can't do anything about it. So I'm just going to try to love on the people around me and then really hope it works out, you know? And moral of the story, I got to Vegas around 2:30 during the winter meetings. And the Dodgers were great. They were, at that time trying to trade for a number of players. So they had a lot going on, but they still made me feel special and welcome. And Dave Roberts took him into a side room in their suite, their war room, and for 20 minutes just asked me about what I'm about and said, where do I want to go in this game? And I talked about having a passion for baseball and people, and wherever that leads me, I'm in.
Wow.
It was great.
Did he have a position in his brain for you, or was he like, what do you want to do?
He did. He basically the position I'm in now, which is video coordinating, and then also still doing replay, which I had done for 5 years with the Giants.
Yeah, and replay can get a little hectic. I mean, would you say nerve-wracking?
Well, you know what? Being a firefighter after I retired baseball really helped, right? Because I had been in life-threatening situations.
Yeah.
And we know as coaches and former players, on the field, the sooner you can slow the game down,
sure,
the better chance you have of succeeding.
#, slow heartbeat.
That's all that is, right? Breathe, right?
5 and 5. In through the nose for 5.
Out through
and out. And I tell the kids this, not to make it about me, but I'm going to make it about me for a second. I'll say, hey kids, whenever you're feeling nervous or scared or anxious or tired, just do the 5 and 5. In through the nose for 5, out for 5, and you forget about whatever you were afraid of.
Yeah.
Back to you.
It's better than the Chuck Woolery 2 and 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Chuck
the 5
Woolery.
and 5.
Yeah.
Because he was back in 2 and 2.
He was the game show host.
He sure was. Love connection.
Mullet salute. He
That's
had
all
a
that
bit of a mullet there. More the John Stamos salute.
It was actually a Stamos.
Yeah. So give me your. You just flew. You were in Arizona, Diamondbacks, Dodgers, a couple days ago. Did you have a replay? Would you have? Give me the.
Oh, I got
behind the curtain.
Let me give you the most important replay of my life.
Oh boy.
2014 Game 7 of the World Series. Okay. You have a ground ball up the middle, 4th inning. Diving play Joe Panic. Backhand flip with the glove. Rare play to Brandon Crawford. Bazooka to first. Eric Hosmer dives in head first. This is first base. This is his hand. Brandon Belt reaches out with a size 15 cleat on the base. Catches the ball. They call him safe. He's out by that much. Right away. Challenge.
Sure.
We challenge that call. We get an out in Game 7 of the World Series.
You immediately get a phone call from the bench coach. Is that how
Yes.
it works? And you are sitting in front of how many TV screens?
We have two 32-inch monitors with 16 angles.
And who's we?
Myself and, wait for it, Sean Dunston. Yes.
Okay, before we really unpack Sean Dunston.
Shawan Dunston.
One of my man crushes growing up, and it's 1988, 89. I'm 6, 7 years old. I come home from school, living in North Carolina. I make a big bowl of applesauce, and I watch Cubs games in their entirety.
WGN.
Loved me some Andre Dawson. Loved me some Mark Grace. Loved me some Ryan Sandberg. But Sean Dunston had a rifle, and I just loved watching him throw the ball. Was so fast. And you said Shawnee can still throw at 90 miles an hour.
Two things about Sean Dunston.
Yes.
Still has a great mustache.
Still got a great mustache salute.
That's a mustache salute. And he can still throw 90 from short. For sure.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And you're sitting beside him surrounded by 32 screens?
2 screens.
2 screens.
16 angles.
16 angles.
Yeah, 32-inch screens.
32-inch screens. Got it. And on that play, you knew right away. How much time do you have under the gun to let your bench coach know?
Back then it was 30 seconds.
30
it's
seconds.
changed now to 20 seconds.
And you and Sean both are like, boom.
I'm working the controls. So basically, I'm going to get the angle that's going to prove our thesis or our theory.
Wow. So you are the phalange man.
Almost like Billy Joel on a piano, if you will.
But you got to have very calm phalanges.
Well, that's the thing. I haven't been a firefighter.
Yeah.
Right. I've been through life and death situations, so no one's dying when you're doing replay.
Good point.
Right. So like I'm able to breathe.
Yeah.
And stay calm, knowing that that's going to give me the best chance to make the right decision.
That's great, you know, because you can get so hyper focused on a certain moment in a game, high leverage, the crowd is buzzing, everybody's counting on you. It's that airplane scene where he comes in and says to we're all counting on you.
We're all counting on you.
Yeah. Don't worry, but we're all counting on you.
Don't blow it.
Everybody don't blow it. Good luck. We're all counting on you. And you're able to kind of slow everything down. And I would imagine being a firefighter helped you in that moment, but also being a player and playing in those high leverage moments helps you too.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything you can draw from your life experience that can just help you stay calm is going to give you the best chance. So a number of things have happened in my life, and it helped in that moment.
I talked to a guy who's been coaching for 50 years about high leverage situations, and I asked him, talking about antsiness, why do parents scream or yell or get loud in these high leverage moments when their kid is up to bat and say it's bases loaded, final inning, and why don't they yell? Well, why don't they feel that same feeling in practice? Or what is it about the game that causes this switch?
Yeah.
And he had a great point. When somebody has not been there, done that, is uneducated on a certain field, and they get in a high leverage situation within that field, what happens? They scream, they get anxious, they yell.
Absolutely.
And I connected it to the birth of my first child.
Oh gosh.
Like, I'm a pretty cool
that's a great
cucumber
analogy.
I had a friend in college or in high school. He's like, man, I've never been clutch. How are you so clutch? I enjoyed the moment. I could slow it all down. I also had a dad who was very chill. It didn't matter if I struck out or hit bombs.
Helped. Yeah.
He was just very same right there.
Same dad.
And it helped. That helped a lot. Yeah. So I kind of looked forward to the moments in the spotlight, and I kind of hoped that the bases would be loaded. But you see a lot of parents just wishing to the point of anxiety, and that's how I was when my first child was born. I was like, I'd never been there, done that.
Yes.
And I'm just like, so many emotions are flying, and it's so anxiety fueled that I can't imagine it's a healthy place for my wife.
Yeah, totally.
Or the baby who's being born. So maybe you can speak to that as well, as far as you being under the gun with your job and instant replay. What does that do to a child when their parent is kind of reminding them they're under the gun in a high leverage moment?
It's something that you've said before, and I just can't agree more, is really kids don't see what their coach or their parents, they're not listening to our words. They're looking at our actions, right? So to truly be mindful of exuding calmness, right? In those moments as a coach or as a parent, exuding unconditional love as a parent, like our fathers, we knew either way we were going to Dairy Queen. You know what I mean? Like, get the game-winning hit, don't get the game-winning hit. You're still going to Dairy Queen. That's a win.
It's true.
Right? So as a coach, you have to give off that same vibe. As a parent, you have to give off that same vibe. Our kids are feeding off of it. It's the future of our country or our world is depending on how we act in those moments.
Yep.
Right? You can't scream, stay calm while looking,
Well,
stay calm. That's not a thing.
Banging on the fence, stay calm.
Yeah, you just gotta breathe. You gotta breathe.
I think about like the pace at which a coach might walk out to the pitcher's mound.
Yeah.
and their gait,
Totally.
and I've seen coaches that are cussing on the way to the mound. They're screaming, and kids, they might be able to hear some of those words, but it's more the physicalities that they are noticing.
Body language.
And the body language. And my dad, I was one of the lucky ones. He had a lawn chair. He had a 6-pack of Wild Cherry Pepsi.
Yeah, he did.
He had an unbuttoned Hawaiian shirt. And that was his vibe.
He's Tom Selleck.
He was Tom Selleck, and he was sitting behind the left field fence. And he would walk slowly, and he would talk like this. And if it was a home run, he'd say, "Wow, way to hit the ball." And
Crack open a Wild Cherry Pepsi.
Boom. And if I struck out to end the game, or if I walked 4 straight batters, oh, okay, something's wrong there. Okay, all right. But it was the pace at which, like you said, the do. I was watching the way his body did, not what his voice said. So, it really comes down to just being okay with failure. You're being okay with your kid failing in those big moments, because what are we trying to do here?
Yes.
What are we trying to win this little league game today?
Mm-hmm.
Are we or are we trying to build up this child to be a great big brother and a great father one day?
Yes.
And I mean, for you and me, we're very sensitive to the we get the chills whenever good. I mean, that's my first chill moment of this podcast, is thinking, okay, you're in a high leverage situation. If I parent one way, my kid's going to run away from the game, and
no doubt,
and possibly make bad choices down the road. Or I can be calm. I can empower them with the knowledge that failure is good when you're young, because you can learn from it so much easier than if you do well. And what kind of person am I building? So you have to look at the heart before the skill, and you must look at the person before the win. You have to prioritize that. So I feel like that's what this podcast can really start from. We can start from that place.
Great starting point.
We've figured out where good coaches need to go in high leverage situations, what they need to do with their voice and their body and their mind, and then what kind of lens are we looking through? Is it one where we must win today? So we're going to make each kid play on our travel ball team year round, and you're not allowed to play soccer or other sports. You have to play this one. And anybody that shows up in blue jeans or has never played, you're not welcome. There's a culture out there that supports that, and then there's the culture being preached by any college coach I've ever talked to, any professional manager or player I've ever talked to, any ex-player like yourself in the pros, of big picture. Right? So it's tempting to look at the small picture and want to win that day. But when Christian Yelich is saying, why does an 11-year-old need to win on a certain day? When Joe Madden is saying, I'm a major league manager, I need to win today. Little league coaches, you don't need to win today. You need to make sure your kids are becoming better people that day. I think, and it's 20 years, you and me both coaching. I'm not saying we've got it all figured out, but we've figured out some very important things. And I would imagine, I would probably ask you, when did you realize that fact that this shouldn't be about a win today? This should be about a kid's mental health and growth to be a good person.
What I like to do as a coach, and I can't put a finger on when it, when I had that epiphany. It definitely happened, but get rid of the term winning and losing, and let's change it to winning and learning. Right? So when you win, okay, great. We played well, and let's make sure we're respectful to our opponent, win the right way. When you end up on the opposite end of winning, what'd you learn?
Yeah.
Right? When you struck out, what'd you learn? When you walked a guy, what did you learn? What were you thinking about? How was your heart rate? Right? So now all of a sudden we can change the story for the child of like, okay, we won. Okay, that's great. Yeah, how did you treat your opponent? How did you treat your teammates?
Yep.
You know? But when we didn't necessarily win, also great. We're going to grow.
Yep.
Right? So, and all of a sudden now it changes. And even when our kids make errors, like I want to change that vibe to how did the team respond? Mm-hmm. Right? So even in those moments in a game where it's stressful or there was failure, no, look for the opportunity for as a pitcher, and if I made the error, you saying, hey, I'm going to get you a ground ball, that's turn 2.
Yep.
Right? So that's the vibe. And if we do that as coaches, now we got action. Winning and learning is a term from Hunter Pence. He gets full credit for that.
Attaboy, Hunter Pence.
Attaboy, Hunter Pence, one of the greatest people on the planet. And he is kind of coined that phrase. And I absolutely love it as a coach.
Yeah.
Winning and learning.
Winning and learning, and it takes that stigma off of shame. Like lose, shame, yell, fear, the fear of losing.
Yeah. It's an opportunity to learn.
It's a big time opportunity to learn. And then where I try to make sure my kids understand me at camp is low expectations for the output or your skill development that day or the win or the batting average. It's pretty low. High for your choices.
Yeah.
And so if you are showing up 2 minutes early, and if you have an epic team meeting pose, and if you're choosing to hustle to your position and cheer super loud and be ready every pitch, if the effort is there, you're going to be good to go.
No doubt.
And then if you're changing that word from losing to learning, you're able to dissect that mistake in a healthy way and say, let's, since we're not afraid of it, right? We're not going to get yelled at because of it. It's not going to push us out of the game. Let's dissect it and say, okay, was there something we could have done in practice, something we could have done, maybe a choice we could have made better at home? Maybe we clean our room without being asked by our parents, and that in turn pushes us to be a better teammate, and in turn helps us to produce better runs batted in or whatever. I feel like that's a way better way of causing wins to happen.
No doubt.
Right? Not that
wins
that's
off
the
the
goal.
field.
Exactly. That's wins off the field. But I think it's...
Which do count.
Tim Corbin, the Vanderbilt coach.
Okay.
Big advocate of the character, produces the win. And then my pal Nick Punto, you might have played with or against.
Yeah.
He's big on 5 tools plus a character guy.
Love that.
That's a major leaguer.
That's a big
right?
leaguer.
That's a big leaguer when you got them both. Sounds like Hunter Pence has got all that good stuff, plus a nice beard. Beard salute.
Great beard.
And so, yeah, I think this is a great place to start with this podcast where we give kind of our takes of where we're at right now, because I know it's going to help a lot of you parents and coaches out there that are just struggling with how do I deal with my kid, and it can be where you realize they are failing, they're making mistakes because of their effort, and then we can dissect different moments of I've run into that where I just can't get this kid to give the effort, and I've tried 8 different ways of getting him to bribing them with baseball cards or for 6 hours just awarding every kid that is hustling or making good choices and giving them cards, or maybe it's sitting them down and chatting with them about how's things going at home.
Huge.
You empty your tool pouch and then you still can't figure it out. Hey, it happens to me. I'm sure it happens to you too. And we don't have it figured out, but we figured out a few things with the help of a lot of major leaguers, former and current. So, I think that's kind of where we're at. We don't have a name for this podcast.
Not yet.
But
we need one, though.
We'll figure it out.
Between the two of us and all of our friends.
You're Chad Chop, and your nickname's Chad the Dad. I'm James Lowe, nickname Coach Ballgame. We want to make this about kind of, for me anyway, it's helping parents look through a better lens to build a more happy child, more productive community, and just bringing youth sports to, I don't know if that's what it used to be, but definitely what I wish it to be, which is just a place of joy where when kids come to my sandlots and when parents come to my sandlots, I've literally heard them say, I expected to, be nervous and anxious. Like I walked up to the field expecting, oh gosh, okay, here it goes. Here's 3 hours of nerves.
There. Oh my goodness, no.
Meanwhile, afterwards, they're like, that felt like a party.
It was so fun.
It is like a birthday party. And that's that's how it should feel.
Yes.
At all sporting events. There shouldn't be yelling at umpires that are 20 years old that are making
doing the best they can,
$8 an hour, doing the best they can. No, we've got to understand that the cons outweigh the pros by a lot when you're looking through the wrong lens. So,
youth sports, if you treat it like Joe Madden said, he has to win in the big leagues, right? Or us in college, we remember.
Yeah.
It becomes a business pretty quick.
Yeah.
You get to college, it's a business.
Yeah.
So when your kids are young, they have to fall in love with the game. Mm-hmm. That's our goal.
Yeah.
In youth sports, make sure they love what they're doing, because there's going to come a time, I don't know about you in college, but there were days when I transferred schools because I didn't love what I was doing.
Yeah.
Right? So it becomes a business at some point. If you want that for your kid, it's coming when they're like 18. Mm-hmm. So until then, like, holy smokes, have fun.
Yeah.
Have fun, right?
There's a lot more life lessons to be learned on a ball field than on an iPad.
That's right.
For sure. So, put that on a cup.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah. So it's other stuff too. Well, this has been the pilot episode.
Have a great day, guys.
Thanks for joining us.
What's our catchphrase at the end? It is what it is. That's what it is.
And that's what it is.